So here we are reviewing how to graph a quadratic equation. Quadratic equations have x's with powers of 2 by them. And generally when you graph a quadratic, it looks like either a U shape or it's upside down like an N shape. It's either skinny, it's fat. For these, the easiest way to do this is to make a table. If you ever forget how to graph anything, the easiest thing is to make a table. For the x and the y, remember, for the domain, you pick whatever you want, you see what you get for the range. So for the x's, I'm going to pick some negatives, some positives, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. What I'm going to do now is take this, substitute it in for x, and see what I get. Whatever I get will be the y that goes with it. So if I take -2, place it into the equation, -2 to the power of 2 minus 8. -2 to the power of 2 is 4. 4 minus 8 is -4. If I take -1 and put it in there, I get -1 to the power of 2 minus 8. -1 to the power of 2 is 1. Minus 8 is -7. Take 0, put it in there. I get 0 to the power of 2 minus 8. 0 minus 8 is -8. And then it's symmetric, right? So whatever I put in for the negatives, I'm going to get the same when I put positives in. So if I put 1 in there, 1 to the power of 2 minus 8 is also -7. 2 to the power of 2 is 4, minus 8 is -4. It's the same thing I got up at the top. Once you got your points, once your table's completed, you got points now. Graph them. Each one of these pairs is a point. -2, -4 on the graph. You go -2 sideways first, and then -4 point. The next point, -1, -7, -1, -7, 0, -8, 0, -8. And then symmetric, so I'm coming down like this, I'm going to go up the other side, so 1, -7 is here, 2, -4 is here. Once you got the 5 points, it's going to make a U shape. It's not a V, it's a U, so you got to add your own little curve. So I'm going to curve it up, and I'm going to curve it up that way. And you graph the problem. For the one below it, same thing. If I want to solve that, let's make a table. X's and Y's. You pick whatever you want for X. I always like picking the smallest numbers I can. So 0 and then 1 and 2, positive and negative. Take -2, put it in there. I get -2 times -2 squared plus 4. -2 to the power of 2 is 4. Times -2 is -8. -8 plus 4 is -4. Take -1, put it in here. I get -2 times -1 squared plus 4. -1 to the power of 2 is 1. Times -2 is -2. -2 plus 4 is 2. Put 0, put it in there. I get -2 times 0 plus 4. 0 times -2 is 0, plus 4 is 4. And then it's symmetric, so if I put 1 in here, I'm going to get the same as a -1, I'll get 2. If I put 2 in there, I'll get -4. Right, same answers as above. Here, same deal. Graph it. -2, -4. -2, -4. As you're graphing this, you should be thinking, the x squared term is negative. What does that mean the graph is going to look like? The next point, -1, 2, 0, 4, 1, 2, and 2, -4. 2, -4. So it's the same thing, it's upside down. Remember, when there's a negative in front of the x squared term, it makes it an upside down U. Do your best, draw some lines through it, add some curve. And you just graph the two equations. F of x equals x squared minus 8, and f of x equals -2x squared plus 4. And that's graphing quadratic equations.